let's do some impressions for Grand Kingdom, the game few have heard about. So this is a JRPG of sorts. Definitely from a storytelling perspective, it is a JRPG. It has the little pictures of people that pop up on the side. The story it tells is very, I don't want to say tropey, but if you played a JRPG that has the silhouettes pop up on each side and they talk back and forth, you know what I'm talking about. And that's kind of uninteresting to me, not something that you're really going to play the game for. The story seemed fine, and you only get to play kind of the tutorial. And then the game throws you out into this world. So while you just get to watch random gameplay, there's an overworld map and you're running around it. Not an overworld, it's like for each mission has its own map. And there's different squares and you move and other units move on this map and you fight them. Sure. And this is what happens when you run into someone on the map. You fight them on this little field. 4 to 6 characters that are with you that you're fighting with. Now they all have different classes, they all have different moves, and they all do different things. It's kind of complex, so there's a lot to break down. You get to move with a separate gauge from your attacks. So you can see that on the bottom. I don't know why I'm pointing at my computer. You can see them on the bottom. There's 2 gauges there. There's a foot gauge for movement, and then there's a little sword gauge for how much attacking you can do. Now, certain attacks like this one use an active time battle type of thing. Not active time battle because that would imply something else. Where you're timing the hits of when you want to shoot an arrow or that fire spell in the same way as you might in a Paper Mario or something. So there's that. And each different attack has their own ways to do that. So arrows, you're following the reticle in the same way, but it arches differently. You can do things where if 2 units are close together, you can hit them both with the fire spell and kind of target them separately and independently. The implementation of that works really well. For the most part, it's a little funny in that if you let it's going to happen again. So if you let it go across the screen, it's not going to happen again with this guy. That's a different spell. There are certain spells you can only use a certain number of times during a sortie, a battle, or whatever. Not one of these battles, the overall battle of the grid. So anyway, so you say you're shooting arrows, right? And the reticle goes across the screen, across this little area for the area that you can shoot arrows in. These are arrows. So the reticle's going, and it starts at one point and goes to the end, and then it restarts. Now you shoot an arrow, it restarts again, and you keep doing it. But if you shoot 2 arrows and then let it get to the end, the attack stops. But you might not be done attacking. You might have just let it go to the end because you missed the guy, and you're like, oh, it's going to go back to the other side. But it doesn't. So there's weird things like that. There's other things when you're attacking with a melee guy and you want to do a certain combos. If you hit the guy into the air, you might miss with your continuing combo because he's flying in the air, and the game has no real way. You still get penalized, like you still lose that from your attack meter, but you couldn't have hit him, and you couldn't necessarily have known that quickly that you weren't going to hit him. It's a little weird, and maybe that's on me as a player to be like, oh, I need to change this combo so I don't do that, or I hit him up in the air and do this other attack instead. But it kind of adds another wrinkle onto something that's more or less overcomplicated in the first place, and I don't understand why you necessarily. It's fine though. That gets into other problems with how this all works. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of pieces here. Oh, let's talk about this. I'm trying to heal everyone here, right? So this character's a healer, and I just healed one of them. This character's a healer. In order to heal, which is a limited use item, by the way, and not limited to this battle, limited to the war, in quotes, that's going on outside of this, which might be multiple of these battles, or will be multiple of these battles. 5, or plot, several. I'm throwing this health potion, which is ridiculous. You have to throw it in this arch at an area. And if it hits someone, it stops there. It doesn't, if you're aiming here and it hits someone here, the healing effect is here now. Well, it's fine, I get that. The arch that it shows you in the game does not indicate it's going to hit the back of this guy's head. So that's one. There's friendly fire for everything. So you can shoot your own teammate with an arrow, you can heal the opponent. And the opponent will heal you too, if you just happen to be standing next to him, which is cool. Since all the healing, the major healing, seems to be AoE. Another thing with throwing healing bombs at everyone, I've killed one of my own teammates with a health potion because it did too much damage to them before it could heal them. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I'm not sure how they died, but I know I killed them by throwing healing at them. And that's absurd. Also absurd, the healer girl can't throw/drop the potion at her feet to heal herself. She has to throw it. This is how I healed her. Because this is major healing. We're talking 80% healing with this attack as opposed to 30% with something else. So 80% healing. The way I had to trigger it was by walking up to someone and throwing it at their back. Because as the aforementioned arch wouldn't allow me to throw it over them where I was actually aiming, it would hit their back and it would therefore heal the healer. This is dumb shit that doesn't make any sense. And there's these weird workarounds to stupid things. There's also the controls for... So, you have 3 separate attacks mapped to triangle, square, and circle. If I press circle, it aims the archer. It aims the archer's bow. It aims his arrow because he's an idiot. It aims his bow. After that, I can press X to cancel out of the attack phase and go back to the movement phase. Seems fair. If I press X twice doing that, I end my turn. I end that character's turn, he just stands there. It doesn't do anything. And it's too easy to accidentally do that. Or to forget, oh, I already canceled the attack, I don't need to press it again. And not to mention, also, that other things you have to press circle to do to back out of. But this you have to press X to cancel out of. And you can accidentally do it and end your whole turn. And in a battle where you need to place everyone and make sure this guy's over here and he's attacking that person, and you need all the attacks. You have to be using all the attacks. You can't just be fumbling about. Or you're going to get shot in the face with 16 arrows. It's too easy to screw up. And I don't understand why... this game's been out in Japan for a while, so it's not going to change. I don't understand why this wasn't a different button. Or why this didn't say... hold X to cancel, or something, because ending your turn, accidentally pressing X, and it just ends it. It doesn't say, do you want to cancel? There's no, you just accidentally cancel, and when you're pressing circle and going, oh, I need to move again, and you press X, accidentally registers twice. It's happened before, and you cancel your turn, and it's like, that's fucked up. That's not what I wanted from this, or anything in this strategy environment where accuracy and timing and placement and where you're facing matters. You don't want to be accidentally canceling a turn. But these little gripes aside, I did really enjoy playing it. It is a lot of fun. There's a ton of different classes in the little beta they're doing. You don't really get to see a lot of the classes. There's just the healer, mage, archer, and sword fighter guy. And that's fine. Even those are pretty fine. You're learning new skills. Every time you level up, you can adjust their stats and give them different attributes. There's a lot going on here, and it is very fun. These are online battles. That's what the beta is for. These online battles. And I don't really understand how these online battles work. There's 4 different countries, and they're all fighting each other. And so this guy's at war against this guy. Okay, sure. I'll fight for him. Whatever. And you go into there and there's this big map, and the map's broken up into little sections of fronts of a war. So if you moved the front in this section, you'd move sections across it. And you pick a section and then you go into it and I'm like, am I fighting another person? Am I fighting people that don't exist? in real time, or and they're just putting their units here, which you can do. You can send your units to war, and they just kind of do it on their own time. Maybe when you're not playing, I'm not 100% sure. Or you could just go in and do it, like I'm doing it here. And the battles, I don't know if anyone else is here in this battle with me, and that's confusing, but fine. It doesn't really matter. It's still fun to do. I did 2 of these matches, and never once did I get to the end. I'd completely rout the enemy and win, get to the end and destroy their castles or whatever. I destroyed maybe 1, and then the battle took 40 minutes, and that's how long. There's a timer, I'm not sure exactly, but around 40 minutes. It just says, oh, okay, here you go. The battle's over. And that's fine. It's weird that I only defeated 1 building of this, and I have no idea if anyone else is with me. I don't really understand what's happening. Maybe when there's more people playing, I was playing at like 2 in the morning, so that's on me. But that's confusing and weird. It doesn't matter because the main gameplay of these battles is a lot of fun. And it is interesting to see where placement is because of everything has friendly fire, and there are field things, like there's a ballista attacking that area. It's going to attack you and anyone in this certain area every so often on the little gauge at the bottom. So you have to get everyone out of the way. It'll attack the enemy. It'll attack you. There's healing things that'll happen that will heal you and heal them. There's a lot going on, and it is very fun to kind of move your pieces around like it's Fire Emblem or chess or whatever the hell you want to do. That's a lot of fun. There are finicky things with it. Doesn't necessarily affect how I feel. Pretty positively. I never really heard about. I follow NIS and see anything on their mailing list. Get their anything they pops up like, hey, here's this game, here's this game. And I like a lot of their stuff that they publish. There's just that style, that Japanese. That's why I call it JRPG. It's just that Japanese style. It's completely different. This game would not come from a Western studio. Like, we get XCOM 2 from a Western studio. We get this from Japan. And I think that's cool, and I like both, and they're very different. I love the art of the Japan comes from Japan. So I like all this stuff. Never heard of it before. Really played this. Rather enjoyed it. Is it amazing? Is it gonna blow anyone's mind? No. Is it supposed to? No. It's supposed to be some weird game we play with a bunch of anime characters that you assembled your team with, and you go on little wars in a barely comprehensive, like barely even any shred of sense story, and you have fun with it. And that's it. That's what it should be. That's what it's always going to be. It's fun. Just have fun playing a game. And the gameplay was fun. Did I blow up my own teammate and accidentally light him on fire several times? Yes. Did I shoot him with arrows? Yes. Is healing yourself way too complicated to where you have to throw a healing bomb? You can't be right next to someone, and it's bomb, not like balm, like B-A-L-M. No, it's bomb. It's like a bomb you're throwing. Maybe that's not what they call it. Doesn't matter. It's a healing bomb. Why is that so complicated? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Not to ramble and ramble and ramble. Ramble. It's a lot of fun. It's good. If you're looking for something different, if you're not excited by May, this comes out in June, roughly around the end of June. You're not excited by the things in May, which I'm not over the moon about Battleborn or Overwatch or Doom or Uncharted. I almost forgot about Uncharted. Sorry. Hey, look at me throwing a bomb. That's heal potion. You're throwing it in the air like a psycho. You're not excited about any of that stuff. There's this coming out for a nice little strategy JRPG. You know what you're getting, somewhat. The battle system is interesting, is pretty different from what you expect. There's 3 tiers to it too. I didn't even mention that. 3 different levels. You can set up traps for them. Very intricate. You can put little objects on the map too, so you can have your archer on a barrel or a box or something, so he's higher. I guess that does something, I don't really know. But a lot of fun. Rather enjoyed it. Grand Kingdom. Not a very, catchy or memorable name. What you gonna do? What can you do? It's much better than Type 0 HD. That's good in my book. No, but also Type 0 HD is actually a pretty good game. Final Fantasy.